back to the Hover's Hangout, and today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts and opinions on the new AHSOKA show so far. This is kind of going to be a video essay slash rant video because I don't really have a script, but I still know what I want to talk about overall, so bear with me. First, talk about the plot. It's a few years after the destruction of the second Death Star in the Battle of Jakku. The Empire is in fragments, and the New Republic is failing to kind of make a sustainable government. See my New Republic is incompetent video for more information on that. So, we come to the problem of the Empire is still around, and they are organizing something. They are led by Morgan Elsbeth, Balin Skull, and Shin Hati, who are searching for someone. That someone is Grand Admiral Thrawn, who we last saw in the Season 4 finale of Rebels, who was zipped away by a bunch of space whales. This is motivation A for our main characters, AHSOKA, Sabine, Hera, and Hu Yang, to go on this mission and find Thrawn so they can stop the Empire from reforming and become something bigger and ultimately do more damage. The First Order is kind of what I'm referencing here. But way back when Grand Admiral Thrawn was zipped away by space whales, the space whales took another, Ezra Bridger, ghost crew member, a great Jedi, apprentice to Kanan Jarrus, and friend to AHSOKA, Sabine, and Hera. That's motivation B for AHSOKA and Sabine. Finding Ezra. When you find Thrawn, you find Ezra, supposedly. And everything else, it just kind of happens around that main plot point of trying to find them. The big problem for both parties, Morgan Elsbeth and AHSOKA, is that they're in another galaxy, which is pretty new and crazy. For years, literally years, decades, Star Wars has opened with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Now they're bringing in a second one. So through the path of Peridia, it's called, they can travel through hyperspace to this new galaxy, which is kind of another big plot point of this show. Basically, Morgan Elsbeth is trying to make this huge hyperspace ring with super Star Destroyer hyperdrive cores and trying to jump to another galaxy. And, I mean, it will probably work. AHSOKA and Sabine need to figure this out in order to find Thrawn, therefore finding Ezra. And yeah, that's really the AHSOKA show so far. As of recording this, there's only 3 episodes out, and that is the basic plot I can give you. There's a bunch of other details that I could go into, but I won't. Got the plot. I'm going to just go over a little bit behind the scenes, some info on the director and some actors, and we'll see where that goes. Like I said, this is kind of a rant, too. This show is created by Dave Filoni, who also has a big part in directing it. And, so Dave Filoni. What should I say about Dave Filoni? Dave Filoni is the Darth Vader to Palpatine. When I say that, I mean he is the right-hand man to George Lucas, essentially, right? Now that Star Wars is owned by Disney, George Lucas doesn't have much say in what goes on, but I'd say his legacy lives on in Dave Filoni, and I feel like this show is kind of it's showing that a lot, and I hope that we'll get to see even more of the George Lucas side of Star Wars make a return in this series. With Dave Filoni as the director, we're sure of multiple things. Not one thing, we're sure of multiple things. Real hard-hitting emotions and wolves. It was a common theme in Rebels, especially Rebels Season 4, and just Dave Filoni loves wolves, man. I mean, the two baddies, the two Force-sensitive baddies, Balin Skull and Shin Hati, are named after the 2 wolves in Norse mythology that chase the sun and the moon. Wolves. From the sound of it, we might be going on the fringes of time travel, and the closest we've gotten to time travel is in The World Between Worlds, also Rebels Season 4. How do you get there? How did Ezra get there? Wolves. that's the simplest answer I could give you. Go watch Rebels. It's a really good show. Of course, we have Dave Filoni's Wolfpack clone troopers that I hope make a cameo. I really hope Commander Wolf and Captain Rex make a live-action cameo in this series, but you don't know until it happens, so we'll see. So that's the directing side of things. Let's look a little bit at the acting. I really like the acting. Because Dave Filoni said that this show is more like a Rebel Season 5 than anything. And you can tell because it really just picks off right where Rebels ends almost, with the closing of Rebels, or the closing of Rebels, the finale of Rebels scene, and the finale of Episode 2 of Ahsoka's scene, like, beat for beat, storyboard by storyboard, it's so clear that is what it is, and you can really tell. I mean, Sabine literally just does the same thing with her finger on the mural. It's crazy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. Go watch Rebels and this Ahsoka show. It's great. Back to the acting. Like I said, Rebels Season 5, the way Rosario Dawson really plays Ahsoka, I can see that if this was animated as voiced by Ashley Eckstein, I could really see that it would work. I mean, her mannerisms, the way she cocks her head, the way she uses her lightsabers, it's all very Rebels and Clone Wars-esque, and that's great. That goes for literally every animated character that was, like, in Rebels. I mean, Hera, Sabine, they all feel animated, which is great for the show. Like I said, that might be a problem with some of you because it's live action, but for me, it's just really paying homage to Rebels, which is really, at the end of the day, what Dave Filoni, I think, wanted to make this whole thing about. To make this section that I'm about to talk about a whole nother section, even though it's still technically behind the scenes, let's talk about the music. For those who don't know, which is probably most of my subscriber base, I am a big fan of music. I can play 3 instruments, and I just love listening to music. It's a great thing. I think everybody should enjoy listening to music at least once. So what I look for in a series or a movie is more than just the acting, the story, which is still a big component. I also look at the music, which is why one of the reasons I love Star Wars, John Williams, that classical feel. But with this new series, we get a new composer, Kevin Kiner. Really new, but this is the first time he's working on a live-action project. He did Clone Wars Seasons 1 through 7, he did Rebels, he did The Bad Batch, and he did Bad Batch Season 2, and now he's doing Ahsoka, which it's great, because Kevin Kiner, I feel like he was just underused, like, he couldn't use all of his talent in the seasons of the Clone Wars, because the Clone Wars, they were usually just using leitmotifs and other themes from other Star Wars things that John Williams wrote, but at the end of Clone Wars, especially the final episode, I feel like Kevin Kiner's talent really stands out. And then Rebels 2, where he also used a lot of themes by John Williams, he also created a whole new theme for Rebels with Ezra and Sabine, and it's great. It gives me goosebumps every time I hear the whole passage that is kind of, I don't know how to describe it in non-musical terms, but it just goes up and down, and it sounds like Star Wars. It sounds great, and they're using it in the end credits scene, or not the end credits scene, the end credits of Ahsoka. You can hear it. If you know what you're looking for, if you know what you're listening for, you can definitely hear, I don't know what theme it is. I call it the Rebels theme, but I think it's Ezra/Sabine's theme, and it kind of goes like, I'm not gonna say it, but it goes like up, down. It's so great. And if I ever do more music videos on Star Wars and stuff, I'll definitely do one on Rebels, because I think the music of Rebels is really, truly something to behold and is great. We're talking about Ahsoka, and the music for Ahsoka is great. In the opening scene, we get a lot of percussion, and we get a good spooky feel when Baylan Skoll has his own hallway scene with the piano chords. Piano isn't really an instrument we hear a lot in Star Wars. The only other time I can really think of it is in Rebels. Wow, Kevin Kiner. he's the piano man of Star Wars, I guess. I can't really think of anything else with piano. Piano just isn't one of those instruments that John Williams used a lot. So piano is just a great instrument for the kind of chords he was using, the great spooky feel that he was trying to get across, and that the feeling that this guy is truly unstoppable. And if you watch the opening scene of Ahsoka, you definitely know what I'm talking about. I mentioned this before, but like I just love his use of percussion, and it's just so great. This might be one of the longest sections of the video. I love talking about music, about just Star Wars music. So if you want me to do more videos, please, or on music specifically, I've been wanting to do a best theme from each Star Wars film video for a few months now. So if you think that would be interesting, please comment down below if YouTube allows comments on this video. The moral of this section of the video is Kevin Kiner deserves so much respect, just as much respect as any other composer from Star Wars. I know John Williams is definitely the best, but Kevin Kiner is just, he's so great, and definitely listen to some of the soundtracks at some point because it's great. Go a little bit in depth on some of the lore aspects of it that some people might not find very interesting, so you can skip that, but this is what's next. Season 3 of Ahsoka is a very big episode. Did I say Season 3 of Ahsoka? I mean Episode 3 of Ahsoka. It's a big episode for many people, and that is because the way the Force is explained. It's kind of controversial. A lot of people don't know how to feel about this. It's not even a new description of the Force. Let me explain what is basically being told here. The Force in the series, as described by Ahsoka, is something that all beings have, and just you have to open up to it. She says talent is a factor, but what the problem is for many people is that anyone now can use the Force, but it's not anyone now, it's anyone forever could have used the Force. It's been like this for so long. George Lucas explicitly explained the Force like this. You have to open your mind, and then he introduced like midichlorians, which affect your level of using the Force, but anyone can use the Force. And this line, essentially, of what Ahsoka is saying has already been said nearly the exact same way by Kanan Jarrus in Rebels. Another Filoni thing. Filoni is, yeah, so watch Rebels. I'll keep saying it because you should watch Rebels. Kanan is in Ahsoka's position in that season of Rebels, I believe it's season 3, where he's training Sabine. That's another part of the plot, kind of skipped over. Ahsoka is training Sabine in the ways of the Jedi. It's kind of a big point. Sorry for forgetting that. It's a rant video, didn't have a script, maybe should have done that. While training her, Kanan is communicating with Hera and says that he can't really, like, she's blocking it. She's blocking the Force because she's so Mandalorian, and it's kind of what Ahsoka is saying, with you have to be open to it. It's what Kanan and Ahsoka are just saying the same thing, and if you didn't like it back then, you didn't like it now, but if you didn't know about it back then, and you like Rebels, and you're fine with it being said by Kanan, you should be fine with it being said by Ahsoka. I just feel like it's a lot of bias towards or against Disney, but I want to remind you that Rebels is it was a Disney XD show, and so it's still Disney, alright? Disney is just saying, Disney's the messenger for this, so you shouldn't be mad at Disney if you don't like this change. Be mad at George Lucas, which I know is really hard for some of you to do. Admit it, it's his fault. I think I think it's fine. A lot of people are like up in the air about it because, you know, oh, you used to have the Force, you used to be special. Someone compared it to like if everyone in Harry Potter could use magic. But it's been said so many times that everyone can use the Force affects everybody. It surrounds us, penetrates us, binds the galaxy together. Alec Guinness said it in the first Star Wars film. It's been a concept forever. So what bothers people is now that anyone can use the Force, but not everyone can use the Force. Like you said, you have to open it up, and that's what people loved about Star Wars, is that only so many people can use the Force. But I mean, I kind of like that everyone could theoretically use the Force. I don't know if I should say I like that, but anyone can use the Force, and it's kind of the Force is Star Wars' thing, so that theoretically, if everyone in Star Wars could use the Force, it's just all Star Wars. But no, not everyone's gonna use the Force. All right, you have to be open to it. People like Cassian Andor, they're not gonna be open to that. They're gonna think it's gibberish, it's mumbo jumbo, as Han Solo, I believe, said in Force Awakens. And people are sounding like Han Solo in The Force Awakens, which is a Disney property. They are saying that's not how the Force works. This is how the Force has worked since the very beginning. And like I said, you just have to be open to it. And, not everyone's going to be open to it, so not everyone's going to have the Force. It's fine. That was a really long rant, and I apologize if that went right over your head. But another big part of this Ahsoka show is that they're balancing the line with time travel here. Time is brought up time and time again. Wow, it's brought up time and time again, and I just think it's a given. We're gonna see the world between worlds. For those who don't know, the world between worlds is a realm in between the fabrics of space and time. It's a different dimension where you can look through the events of the past, present, and future. It's time travel. But Dave Filoni has said it's not really time travel, it's just a way of gaining knowledge. Paraphrasing him there. So, I mean, Ezra did kind of alter time, I guess, with the world between worlds. Sorry, I'm a little tired. With saving Ahsoka from Vader, but that was just how fate worked. Fate was going to allow Ahsoka to survive. A lot of Star Wars is built on fate, duel of the fates. Dave Filoni said, world between world isn't really time travel. So, what they are kind of on the fringes of genuine time travel with traveling to a galaxy. I've seen theories that it's not a where they're going, it's a when. Because it's a pretty clear reference, I think, to the Rakatan invaders from Star Wars Legends. It's a whole other thing. I'm more of a canon. Like, I research a lot of Star Wars canon. Star Wars Legends, it's kind of a whole other world to me. But I do know a little bit. The Rakatan invaders, they are called, came from a distant galaxy to the Star Wars galaxy. They are credited with inventing hyperspace travel. And they come from a different time, essentially. And they just come and enslave the entire galaxy, essentially. And then there's a whole uprising. If you want to learn more about Star Wars Legends, there's a channel called Vader's Fortress. Shout out to him. He is doing a complete Legends timeline series. So if you're interested in anything like that, go check it out. I'm sure he'll cover the Rakatans because he has to. That's the time travel portion. Next, I'm going to talk about a smaller bit of new lore. A new galaxy. This is huge, if you ask me. It means I have to spend more time. I have to spend more time learning planet names and learning the lore of this new galaxy because I created this channel because I know a lot about Star Wars, and now I have to know even more. That will be fun. But this new galaxy, it brings questions to me because throughout Star Wars history, there has been, and I mean real-world Star Wars history, there's been a few pieces of media that has depicted intergalactic travel. It's not really a thing in Star Wars. No one has really tried to go really far out from the Star Wars galaxy. I'm in the middle of reading Timothy Zahn's Thrawn trilogy, where Jedi Master Kabath is, I'm pretty sure it's Kabath, but it could be, pronounce it however you want. Kabath, Master Kabath was a part of an old Jedi program that was trying to go outside the Star Wars galaxy. I don't really know how that works. I think I've heard that there's a force barrier outside the immediate galaxy and it's really hard to leave or something. I don't know. It was an old Eckhart's Ladder video. I might be talking about it wrong. Check out Eckhart's Ladder. So that's I just don't know how they're gonna depict out of galaxies, and I don't know how out of galaxy is gonna work. So this is my theory. Since the Force surrounds us, penetrates, and binds the galaxy together, as we've discussed, I think the Force might only work in the Star Wars galaxy. I'll be calling the galaxy we've had for over 40 years the Star Wars galaxy. This new galaxy, we'll be calling it the Star Trek galaxy because why not? So the Star Trek galaxy, I don't know if the Force will work because the Force binds this galaxy together, but I don't know if it binds this galaxy together. Therefore, would the Force work in this galaxy? I don't know. There might be media that depicts the Force being used outside of the galaxy. Please let me know. Maybe I should do more research, but this is my theory. This is canon, not legends. I think the Force might not work, and I think the Rakatan version of the Force, or the Night Sisters. The Night Sisters of Dathomir are playing a huge role, as Morgan Elsbeth has been depicted as one, meaning that the Night Sisters have always been a really cool part of Star Wars. Go play the Jedi Fallen Order games, Jedi Survivor, and watch the Night Sister arc of the Clone Wars for more information. This is going to be a really long video. Let's talk about theories arising because of this new show. We already discussed my theory of the Force not working in the Star Trek galaxy, but there are other theories. The biggest theory of this new show is who Marok is. Marok is a new Inquisitor-esque character introduced with the show, and I think he is probably one of the most theorized characters ever at this point, because, oh my goodness. The original theory that I truly believed before going into the show, before we knew who voiced him or who played him or what he sounded like, was I thought Marok was going to be Barriss Offee from the Clone Wars arc, where AHSOKA is framed as a bad Jedi, or a Jedi who killed a bunch of other Jedi. Basically, she was framed for blowing up a part of the Jedi Temple. An act of terrorism, really. So, she was ousted from the Jedi Order, and then the Jedi figured out it was Barriss Offee who found the corruption in the Jedi very, very bad, and thought they changed, so she bombed the temple, framed AHSOKA. She was carried off to who knows where, and AHSOKA was led into the Order, but then she left on her own account because she was fed up with the corrupt Order, very similar to Barriss Offee, but she later found her way with it, and kind of, she's no Jedi, but the new trailer for AHSOKA, I'm saying the new trailers have depicted her as Jedi. They say, warrior, Jedi, whatever. So, is she a Jedi? I don't know. Anyway, Barriss Offee. I thought it was going to be Barriss Offee, but now we know Marok's voice, and it does not sound anything like Barriss Offee. Star Wars, I know has a lot of voice changers, but that is real drastic. So, other theories were because Sam Witwer was in the credits as a voice. They thought Marok was voiced by Sam Witwer, and now they thought it was a Starkiller. If you don't know who Starkiller is, play The Force Unleashed 1 and 2. Starkiller, it's really complicated. He was like a clone of... I don't want to go into it. But he's a really powerful Force user. He's Darth Vader's secret apprentice. He can pull down Star Destroyers from the sky using the Force. He can disintegrate people using the Force. So when you put that into perspective to Marok not really killing AHSOKA within the first few seconds of their fight, I really don't think it's him. Rules him out. Also, Sam Witwer isn't credited as Marok at all. The new theory is that it's Ezra Bridger. I don't know why. I think people think Thrawn has somehow brainwashed him, but that would mean that Ezra Bridger would have had to leave the Star Trek galaxy and go into the Star Wars galaxy once again. Crazy. I don't think it's Ezra Bridger. I think that's dumb, stupid, and dumb. I think Marok is just Marok, and we're going to have to deal with it. Although Barriss Offee would still be pretty cool. So, if it's Barriss Offee, I was right, you were wrong. Or New Rockstars was right. Go watch New Rockstars. Really cool. They break down all the episodes of AHSOKA, and they're really cool and smart and nerdy. I'm going to be just talking a little bit about some predictions, maybe, and then we'll probably wrap up the video. My prediction for AHSOKA, I think we're going to get Thrawn pretty late on in the season, or it's either going to be really late and he wins the first round, or it's going to be really early and we don't really have a season 2 of Ahsoka. But I hope it's really late. We get one episode where we hear Thrawn, voiced by Lars Mikkelsen. Let's go. He's back. Voiced by Thrawn. And then the Ahsoka series ends with the Heroes in Defeat. And then we get a second season, which leads into the new Mandoverse movie, which will maybe happen in this new Star Trek galaxy. Who knows? Really? That's my main prediction. Share yours in the comments below if YouTube allows comments on this video. My thoughts on the series. I know that's probably what this video is titled, and it hasn't really been a lot of that. I like it. I think it's gonna be, I think it's good. I think the acting, the writing, the music, the whole new Star Trek galaxy, I think this is wonderful. I think Dave Filoni at the helm of his own series was a great idea, whoever gave him that much power. They deserve a raise. And if it was Kathleen Kennedy, I don't really know what to say about that. But, Dave Filoni, this is great. Thrawn in live action, I'm so hyped, and I just, my final thought is just, it's a great, it's good, okay? It's definitely better than Book of Boba Fett, so far anyway. It's definitely better than Mandalorian Season 3 so far. And I don't really have anything else to say. This has been a pretty long video, and if you enjoyed, subscribe. If you liked the video, like the video. I don't know, ring the bell if you want any notifications when I post, if that works. And yeah, it's been 5 hours. Hang out. Later, nerds.